The Middle East, a cradle of civilization, has long been a chessboard for global powers. For decades, its intricate web of political rivalries, religious tensions, and economic interests has kept the world on edge. Today, we stand at another critical juncture. The recent passing of Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi has sent shockwaves not only through the Islamic Republic, but across the entire globe, raising a monumental question: what comes next? And could this succession crisis ignite the next global war? To understand the gravity of this moment, we must first look at the man who held the reins of power. Ebrahim Raisi, a hardline cleric, was widely seen as the heir apparent to supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. His presidency was marked by a deepening of conservative policies at home and an increasingly confrontational stance abroad. Under his watch, Iran accelerated its nuclear program, strengthened its ties with Russia and China, and expanded its network of proxy forces across the region, from Hezbollah in Lebanon to the Houthis in Yemen. Raisi's sudden death in a helicopter crash has thrown Iran's carefully orchestrated succession plan into disarray. Now, the country faces an emergency presidential election, a process that will be fiercely contested within the corridors of power in Tehran. This isn't just about choosing a new president. It's about determining the future direction of a nation of nearly 90 million people and a key player in global geopolitics. The supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei, now in his mid-80s, holds the ultimate authority. His primary concern will be to ensure stability and continuity. The candidates who are allowed to run will be carefully vetted by the Guardian Council, a body of clerics and jurists loyal to the supreme leader. This process is designed to filter out anyone who might challenge the fundamental principles of the Islamic Republic. The frontrunners will likely emerge from the ranks of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, and the hardline political establishment. One name that keeps surfacing is Mojtaba Khomeini, the supreme leader's own son, a powerful but shadowy figure. He has long been rumored as a potential successor. However, appointing his son could be seen as a move towards a hereditary monarchy, a concept that contradicts the very revolutionary ideals the Islamic Republic was founded upon. Another potential candidate is Mohammad Bagher Gulabov, the current Speaker of Parliament and a former IRGC commander with extensive political experience. His pragmatic yet conservative approach could make him a consensus choice, but the internal power struggle is only one part of the equation. The bigger story is how this transition will impact the volatile dynamics of the Middle East. Iran's regional influence is undeniable. It's the central pillar of the so-called Axis of Resistance, a coalition of state and non-state actors united by their opposition to the United States and Israel. This network gives Tehran strategic depth, allowing it to project power far beyond its borders. The conflict in Gaza has brought these tensions to a boiling point. Iran has long supported Hamas, providing it with funding, weapons, and training. The devastating war between Israel and Hamas has drawn in other Iranian proxies. Hezbollah has been engaged in daily cross-border fire with Israel, threatening to open a second front. The Houthis in Yemen have disrupted global trade by attacking ships in the Red Sea, and militias in Iraq and Syria have launched attacks on U.S. bases. This regional shadow war is a dangerous game of brinkmanship. Each side is constantly testing the other's red lines, and a single miscalculation could lead to a direct full-scale confrontation. For Israel, a nuclear-armed Iran is an existential threat. It has made it clear that it will do whatever it takes to prevent that from happening, including preemptive military strikes. The United States, Israel's staunchest ally, is caught in the middle, trying to deter Iranian aggression without being dragged into another major war in the Middle East. The new leadership in Tehran will inherit this precarious situation. Will they choose to de-escalate, perhaps seeking a revival of the nuclear deal and a rapprochement with the West? Or will they double down on the hardline policies of the past, seeing confrontation as the only way to ensure the regime's survival? The initial signs are not encouraging. In the interim, acting President Mohammad Mokber has vowed to follow Raisi's path without deviation. The IRGC, the real power behind the throne, is unlikely to relinquish its grip on foreign and security policy. This is where the risk of a global conflict becomes terrifyingly real. A direct war between Iran and Israel would not remain a bilateral affair. it would inevitably draw in the United States. The strategic waterways of the Persian Gulf, through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes, would become a war zone. The Strait of Hormuz could be closed, sending oil prices skyrocketing and triggering a global economic crisis. Furthermore, Iran's strategic partnership with Russia and China adds another layer of complexity. In a conflict with the West, Tehran would likely look to Moscow and Beijing for support. Russia, already locked in a brutal war in Ukraine, might see an opportunity to distract and divide its adversaries. China, with its vast economic interests in the Middle East and its growing rivalry with the United States, would face a difficult choice. A wider conflict could put its Belt and Road Initiative at risk, but it might also see it as a chance to challenge American dominance. We could see the emergence of new global alliances, with an axis of Russia, China, and Iran pitted against the United States and its allies in Europe and Asia. The world would be split into two rival camps, reminiscent of the Cold War, but far more volatile and unpredictable. The battlefields would not be confined to the Middle East. Cyber attacks, economic warfare, and disinformation campaigns would be waged on a global scale. The people of Iran are also a crucial, yet often overlooked, factor. For years, they have been struggling under the weight of international sanctions, economic mismanagement, and political repression. Waves of protests have shaken the regime, most notably the Woman, Life, Freedom movement in 2022. The legitimacy of the Islamic Republic is weaker than it has ever been. A new, hardline leader who cracks down further on dissent could push the country to a breaking point, leading to internal chaos that could spill over its borders. The world is watching Tehran with bated breath. The choices made in the coming weeks and months will have profound consequences for international peace and security. Will the new leadership choose the path of moderation and diplomacy, or will they lead their country, and potentially the world, down the path to a devastating war? The stakes could not be higher. The succession in Iran is not just a domestic issue, it's a turning point that could redefine the global order for decades to come. As the pieces on this geopolitical chessboard move, we must all hope that wisdom and restraint prevail over aggression and ideology. The future of a fragile peace hangs in the balance. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content.